Alright, so I kind of cheated. I skipped ahead in the book. And I figured I'm just gonna combine the Yovanovitch hearing and the fucking shit that was earlier this morning. I'm just gonna combine all that into one thing because it's all the same thing. There's people who are upset because the president doesn't have the same ideas about Ukraine that they do. They figure Ukraine is very important to work as essentially our proxy in a war against Russia. Like, that's literally what we're doing here. Ukraine is essentially our proxy in our war against Russia. Russia has invaded the Ukraine. The United States is fighting against Russia through Ukraine, right? Because, you know, nobody wants to have Russia just start picking up fucking land again, recreating the empire, right? But we're not going to just jump in and fucking fight Russia, because then Russia's going to get pissed off at us even more, and then it's going to become a fucking huge ass thing, right? So we're helping Ukraine as much as we possibly can to fight against Russia, right? But it doesn't help when Ukraine is kind of like Russia. You know what I mean? Like, they were corrupt badly, and they were doing fucked up shit, right? They had oligarchs that were taking money and just keeping it and going, fuck all the people, I don't care, right? Like, shit was bad. Now remember, these are the people that we're fighting against, you know, bad people. There's bad people that we're using to fight bad people. And bad people that we were using, they were kind of a little bit more in line with the other bad people that maybe we, you know, really liked. But what are you going to do? We just keep sending them money so that they can just keep taking it. Because why not? Right? Now, Donald Trump is like, look, I think you're important, but I think you're a money pit, and we're just throwing money away. And I'm not going to throw money away on somebody who's essentially, you know, the same thing that we're paying you guys to fight against. Like, so, new election, new president, President Zelensky. Much better guy, right? And it's supposed to be a much better guy. This guy's supposed to be really hard against corruption. He doesn't like fucking corruption, that Zelensky. No. He doesn't truck with that bullshit, right? But, you know, that's fine and all. But, you know, you ran on that. Like, we have this tradition in America where politicians run on, you know, things that they say they're going to do, and then when they get into office, they don't do any of that shit, right? So, yeah, this guy ran on anti-corruption, hardcore, but he was running in a corrupt country. Like, that's not a fucking stretch to make that your platform. Our country's corrupt. It's terrible. They're taking all of your money, leaving you to suffer. I'm going to be against that. The crowd cheers. Because the other guy's going, look, I'm going to subject you to more oppression and take more of your fucking money. And the crowd goes boo, right? Like, you know? So, but that guy could just be looking for his fucking cut of the pie. He could be just another dude that's coming in just to take more money. Don't know. And he just got elected in. So he hasn't really had a chance to do terribly much of anything yet, as far as I fucking know. So Donald Trump is like, I don't really know. I don't know what's going on. And so Donald Trump wanted to look into corruption. Now, funny how, you know, like the whole Russia scandal, right? And the whole Steele dossier and all that shit. Funny how that might still be fresh in the president's mind. And some of that shit happened to happen in Ukraine. So, right? Like the president really wants to look into that shit, how all that shit went down. And what involvement Democrats had in that. Because the Democrats might have been doing the same thing that they've been accusing him of for so long. Right? Personally, I think that's an important thing to look into and find out. Are the Democrats trying to overturn the will of the people? Our country kind of works off the will of the people, not the will of the Democrats. So I'm kind of interested to fucking know exactly how involved are the Democrats into this shit. However, there's a catch. If you're a Republican, you can't ask to have a Democrat looked into because they're your political rival. So, I mean, I don't know what the fuck then you're going to do, because none of the Democrats are going to want to look into any of the Democrats because they're all corrupt. They're all corrupt. When it all comes down to it, all of them are fucking corrupt. But nevertheless, the Democrats are going to ask to be looked into. There's no Democrat that's going to ask for Joe Biden to be looked into. No Democrat's going to have the balls to stand up and go, honestly, I would kind of like to know what the fuck Hunter Biden was doing on that board. No Democrat's going to do that. Right? But the Republicans are going to do that. Sure. Because they're looking at the Democrats going, you guys were pulling some shit. And that's fucked up. But they can't, really? You can't launch an investigation? Donald Trump can't look into corruption in the other side? That's a stunning fucking revelation, I think. I think that this whole thing is an exercise in how the fuck is that a thing? Because he's Republican, he can't ask for investigations to be held to look into Democrats. It's weird how the Democrats can ask for, investigations to be done into Donald Trump for years and years and years. But Donald Trump daren't fucking ask for an investigation to be done into Joe Biden. So, yeah. So therein lies the problem. Donald Trump was asking about a Democrat that may or may not have done some fucking corrupt shit. But it's a Democrat nevertheless, so shame on you. Right? Obviously, your motives aren't to make the country better. We all know that Donald Trump's motives are never to make the country better. It's always just to make Donald Trump more rich. That's Donald Trump's fucking reason for everything. It's probably why he's not taking a paycheck for being president. It's because his only interest is to make Donald Trump richer. It's just turning into an embarrassing fucking thing because the Democrats just will never let this go. Like I said, in 2034, we're still going to be hearing the Democrats having people called in for hearings about a recently fucking deceased Donald Trump. Because we have to make sure that everybody knows he didn't win that fucking election. We have to rewrite the present. We daren't let it ever be history. And so they've cooked up this cockamamie scheme where now we got him. We got this thing. He was on a phone call with Ukraine and he mentioned Joe Biden. Oh my God. Right? So then they get a whole bunch of people who are butthurt because I wasn't involved enough. Look, I'm a special envoy assistant to the special envoy's assistant, and I wasn't fucking asked about shit. This is bullshit. Like, oh my God, I'm a sub ambassador from some other sub ambassador that deals with some special person. And I wasn't specifically brought in on every aspect of everything because the big top ambassador was like, look, I don't need you guys for shit. I can deal with all this myself. And I don't know, man. Like, whenever my boss doesn't delegate a whole bunch of things to me and he just decides to do it himself, that makes me think that there's obvious corruption. And then that bitch on Friday, I was fired. And I didn't do nothing. So it's obvious corruption. I wasn't given what I want. Damn it. Obvious corruption. Again, it's infantile. It's children. Throwing themselves on the ground, kicking their feet, and pounding their fists, and screaming, but I want it. This isn't what I want. I want what I want. Give me what I want. Don't you? Yeah, I want what I want. It's the whole thing. Now, the stuff that's going on now with Volker and I think Sondland. Don't quote me on Sondland, but I definitely know it's Volker. That shit, that could be interesting. But I heard the opening statements from both. And I don't know how much on the side of the Democrats they are, so that one could actually be some interesting shit. But the rest of it, man, it's just whiny fucking people. It's just, it wasn't being done the way I think it should be done. So obvious corruption. And I was let go before I figured I was done with my term. So obvious corruption. Or maybe we don't really need you, even though there's a position that needs to be filled, and we don't really need you anymore. We'd rather fill that position with somebody else. It couldn't possibly be those two things, right? It's obvious corruption. So, I hope everybody considers themselves caught up on my take of what's going on right now. So far, I'm not impressed. The only thing that impresses me is that I think that they have now hit a fucking full-on streak. I think they're batting 1,000. I think the Republicans have asked every single witness at one point or another, do you believe that there's any crime here? Do you believe that any of this is an impeachable offense? And every fucking single one of them, I believe, so far has said no. So it kind of, you know, when the president says, I didn't do nothing, you kind of got to go, well, look, man, I can't really take your word for it. But then when the President Zelensky says he didn't do nothing, then you kind of got to go, oh, well, maybe he didn't do nothing. And then when everybody who's being called forth as a witness to testify to all of the wrongdoing says, when asked, do you believe there was any wrongdoing? They go, no. Really kind of got to ask yourself, what the fuck are we doing here? Like, does anybody other than Adam Schiff and everybody on that side of the dais, does everybody else think nothing fucking happened here? Because, like, if this is seriously just all your problem, so, yeah, there you go. It is just some asinine horse shit. It's just gotten ridiculous, and it's starting to bore me. Like, the whole thing is starting to bore me. So your coverage might get a lot more, I didn't really watch it, but I listened to a couple minutes. You know what I mean? Because it's really starting to fucking bore me. I want to fucking hear something interesting because I already know the Democrats don't like Donald Trump. Like, this seems to be an open forum for the Democrats to just talk about how they don't like Donald Trump more. I get it. Yeah. You're pissed. He won. I feel your pain. I just don't care.